Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast, the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions in the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, news, lifestyle, music, everything really depending on the guest we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You'll recognize my guest from a film you can watch right now on Netflix called We Can Be Heroes. Nathan Blair is with us. Nathan, welcome to Popternative.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We talked about it quickly before we kind of started. I mean, We Can Be Heroes. I mean, there's not much more to say except for the fact that it's just a fun movie, right, Nathan?
Yeah, it's just, same with filming, just a bunch of kids having fun, really.
Well, that was actually a question I had for later in the interview, but I gotta say, what was kind of filming a project like this like? And was there a lot of learning experiences for you in the cast, you would say? Because a lot of you was like, this was maybe like your first big production that you were on, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially for me. I don't know about the others. I know they've all done some other stuff, but for me, I've done some stuff, but like this was like my big thing. And it was like, it's really awesome as a child, your first thing to just be with a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Because like if you're thrown into it and it's with a bunch of adults, you kind of feel intimidated. So I was glad that I got to just work with a bunch of kids. And so offset, we would just goof around and we'd have a great time. And then learning experiences, especially from Robert, mostly, he was just teaching us. I asked him a lot of questions about like filming and directing. So every time I had a question for him or the assistant director, they would always answer a good question. And then he would always make sure that everyone was getting along. And it was just like really fun. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
guess having fun on set was making the movie seem more fun. So you can tell the kids are having fun. So that was just a great experience.
So I do have to ask, because I feel like you're setting me up for this. You're saying you had fun. It was fun time. Come on, lay it on me. What were the pranks like on cast members? Come on, there's got to be some funny stories in regards to that.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Got you.
So yeah, especially me and Lion, who plays Noodles. We'd go up to like our castmates' doors and we would like either like play Demogorgon sounds or we would just like
the Netflix theme. I like that.
Yeah, we plug the Netflix show. But no, we'd go up to Lotus and Akira's doors, who played Fast Forward and Rewind. I'd go up to their door with Lion and we go, ah, and then we just run out the corner. And they'd come out and they go, what's wrong with you guys? And we would just be hiding. I have videos of it. It's so funny. And then we pranked Slow-Mo, who's played by Dylan Lau, where he rolled a 7 in Dungeons and Dragons, like Will did, and we said, "Oh my God, the Demogorgon's coming for you!" And he was like, "No, wait, really?" So Lion would, when he was walking back to their hotel rooms, he would go, "Did you hear that?" And then Dylan was like, "What? What was it?" So by the time they got to his door, he was like holding on to Lion like really tight. So that was that.
I enjoy the fact that the Stranger Things Netflix themes of these pranks were still there. The Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that summer was when season 3 came out, so that was like a big thing among all of us.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'd always incorporate it. I think I kind of brought us all together with that show. I was like, we watched the show together, and we all watched the premiere.
I mean,
so that was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. You look at, Stranger Things right now, obviously, We Can Be Heroes came out on Christmas, I believe, like the 25th it was out. And you look at like Cobra Kai and everything, like Netflix is just kind of knocking it out of the park right now. I mean, simple question for you is what's it like kind of being part of the Netflix family, Nathan?
Well, We Can Be Heroes is not my first Netflix project, actually. Mm-hmm. I was on Best Worst Weekend Ever. So I played the younger version of one of the main characters. I played young Zed. And there I didn't really get to like feel like part of the Netflix family that much because I was just in like one scene each episode. So I didn't get to go a lot and like feel part of it. But then when we did Heroes, I felt like it was really part of Netflix because they came every day and they gave us lectures like how to work with castmates on set and how to make everyone feel comfortable and how to be in the workplace. So that was cool. And one day I go into my trailer at lunchtime and there's like a bag there from Netflix, and they just gave us like everyone like a shirt and a hat and a stuffed monkey with the Netflix shirt. I was like, whoa,
Officially
this is so
Netflix.
cool. Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm really part of Netflix. So now I'm like, it's just really like surreal. Like Netflix is now posting stuff of me, which is kind of like crazy
Yeah.
to me because I'd never like expected to like
Absolutely.
be part of this. So,
No, for
but
sure.
I don't know, Netflix. Like I always remember like getting home from school and staying up like really late just watching Netflix shows.
Yeah.
So now to be in one of the Netflix movies that is apparently doing pretty good. It's actually like really exciting, and I'm just so happy that. And I don't know, they're all great. They're always making sure everyone's like happy on set. So I don't know. I'm so grateful to be part of the Netflix family.
Well, the reception has been incredible. The social media buzz for yourself and your other castmates has just been insane, kind of nonstop. I feel like it's kind of at this point of just kind of like it's just keeps going type thing. You know what I mean? And it's not
Yeah, it's
stopping.
just an uphill.
No, absolutely. And it's an exciting thing. In terms of, I just wanted to kind of go. It's something I wanted to ask in the beginning of the interview. This is like how you got started in acting type thing. That was like kind of the first question I wanted to ask you, but I got so excited about the pranks because you were talking about fun on set. So it's kind of like changing the style of the interview a little bit. But in terms of like what was there kind of a specific show or a movie or something that you were kind of showed that kind of like that kind of made you want to be an actor or a storyteller? Like how did you get involved with acting, Nathan?
Well, I mean, I can't really say one thing, although I'll point out Finding Nemo. Because like when it like came out, I was like, I think it came out before I was born, but but I was like really young. Like that was the first movie I ever saw. So I guess I would always remember every single line. So because I'd have it play on I wouldn't eat my breakfast in the morning unless Finding Nemo was playing. That's how insane I was. I have 4 clownfish now, thanks to that movie. But I would remember the lines, and so when it was going, I would recite them. I'd be like, "Dad, Dad," and he'd be like, "Nemo." So I would always be like, I'd recite every single line, and I'd know everything. And my grandparents picked up on it. My Mimi and my Memi mostly. They picked up on it, and every time they call me, they're like, "I saw it in you when you were 1 year old. I saw it." So that's kind of like, I guess, where it kind of built up in my parents to be like, maybe we should send him to an acting camp. So like when I was like 10 years old, they sent me to an acting camp in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Because usually over the summer we go to New Jersey, which is where my dad's family is from. So, but we couldn't go that year because my mom and dad had like work to do. So they're like, you have to go to a camp, pick one. And my sister thankfully picked an acting camp that was down the street. So we went there, and at first I was like, I don't want this. But then it was a make a movie camp, and each week they'd write a script with us, they'd have us act in it, and then about like a year later, they'd show us the movie that was made. So I just got bit by the bug, I guess. And when I was there, I was like, okay, you're going to play this character. And since I was like new there, I always started off playing like these really small characters. But over the years, I got to play bigger characters in those short films. I think they're all on Vimeo now. So you can see the beginning of Nathan Blair's acting.
That's awesome.
But that's pretty much where I say I got it from, which thanks to like my family. Like it was never in me. I never wanted to do it. But thanks to them saying like, you have to go do this, I was like, oh, okay. But I'd always also just do like role play Star Wars, like with my sister. I'd be like, Leia, and I'd always act. We had like in my old house, we had like a kind of a stage, I called it, because we had the floor and then 2 steps down into the living room. So I'd always make plays there, and I guess like I was just a performer. I was like born performing, I guess. I always like performing. I always like doing school plays and stuff, but I always say it's that acting camp. If it weren't for that acting camp, I would not be acting.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
That's where I got it.
It's
Yeah.
actually a pretty good segue to my next question a little bit. I mean, you're basically a lot of people could say a young up and coming actor. You are still a kid. You are learning every day. You know what I mean? You're going on, you're in an interesting situation as well because, you're acting in these movies and these shows, and you have people that you look up to, but you're on social media. People can follow you on social media. People also look up to you and say, one day I want to be like Nathan Blair. I want to be an actor. Have you ever thought about that? It's kind of like an interesting like middleman dynamic a little bit.
You're like the first person really to bring that up. I never
It
really
is
thought
true
of
if you think about it,
it.
though.
It is. I mean, I guess. I mean, I'm seeing these things on Instagram. They're like, "We want to meet you." I'm like, "You want to meet me?" Like,
Usually it's
yeah,
like
I want to meet people. And so, I mean, I get it's crazy. I mean, like I never expected it.
Mhm.
Like, but I it's really cool.
Yeah,
Gotta be
absolutely.
honest, it's pretty cool. But it's also like you got to stay humble as well.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's cool to think like I mean, it's cool that I'm making an impact on people's lives
Yeah.
and I might influence other generations to act, which is really cool. I encourage it a lot. But I mean, I never really thought of it. But I mean, now that I think it's kind of weird. It was kind of weird at first because like I started like before here, like the day before We Can Be Heroes came out. I mean, like no one knew me at all. And the next day, like all these people are like starting to follow me, and I
It
was
was
like, "Where did
quick,
this come
right?
from?"
Like
Like,
it was quick.
it
It
was
didn't
pretty
waste time.
quick. Like
Yeah.
for all the kids, like we started here. Some of us had already done stuff. They were up here, and now when the movie came out, we were just going up. And I mean, I'm glad that people look up to me, and I hope I can set a good example. Really.
No, absolutely. And and here's the thing too, Nathan. I mean, let's be honest. You were young. You were acting. You were working. But you're also, you're a kid. You're going to school. You have other things you want to do besides work and acting. What is that like balancing? Being going for table reads, auditioning, on call, and everything for that, and then school and hanging out with your friends, playing sports, playing video games. That kind of like that double life a little bit. What's that like? Kind
Yeah.
of balancing it. Is it challenging at times? Like, what's that all about?
It's challenging.
Yeah.
Like it's really challenging actually. I missed my math class 2 days in a row. Oops. So I have to talk to them about that. But I mean, other than like school, I mean, it's easy to like get the work done. The problem is like just for that first period. But I mean, I'm usually able to like pick it up really easily because now since the virus,
Yep.
they're making sure that all work goes onto the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's
if
like a
anyone
tracking
does
of
miss,
it. Yeah.
yeah, so if anyone does miss something, they can go on the computer and get it instead of
Yeah.
having to like get a paper copy.
Yep.
So it's making that easy. And then hanging out with friends, like I hang out with them over FaceTime because
Yep.
all my friends are back in Los Angeles
Mhm.
because I'm in Arizona right now. But one of them lives here from the movie. Lion lives here, so I hang out with him a lot.
Mhm.
I mean, for me, it's pretty easy to balance it. Like you just have to be like, okay, I'm doing work now. I'm not playing games, and I'm not acting right now. This is I'm gonna do my homework.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of homework. I have a bad problem of just putting things off. I'm like, I can do it tomorrow. It's due Monday. What's the problem? And then Sunday comes. I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't do it. That's happened several times, and I got a D because of it. I fixed it. It's now a B. Thank God. Because if I didn't get the B, I wouldn't be acting anymore. They'd be like, nope, you can't do your work forever. You have to get your grades up. So, whew. But no, I was able to. I mean, other than that, it's pretty easy to balance it because like you just have to set time to do stuff, and like I think if you put your school stuff first, you realize it's not that much. And so once you get that done, you have the rest of the like yesterday, I did all my work and then I was sitting for like hours just like what do I do now?
Mhm.
So then I just started drawing. So it's like you just do other I guess if you set like a grid
Mhm.
of like I do my schoolwork and then I do this and then that and then I'm done. So if you set a grid, it's easier. That's something I didn't learn till like 2 days ago.
Mhm.
but I'm glad I learned it. But no, I mean, other than that, it's pretty easy to balance. As long as you just take the time.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up, I have to say this is a chill vibe. This is a good time. We're laughing. We're having a good time. So I feel like you're going to appreciate this. Are you a fan of the dad jokes, Nathan Blair? The dad jokes, the cheesy jokes. Like, are you a fan of these? Because I happen to be a dad joke connoisseur, which means I have them rapid fire. Like, I have them right away. Like, why shouldn't you trust stairs?
Why?
Because they're always up to something. Okay? Or
my reaction to that, yes, I love dad jokes. It was, let me tell you a story. My dad and I were just driving to this fast food place, and at the gas station, it's called The Point, because I guess you get gas there. And then he goes, "The Point? What's the point?" I'm like, I just laughed too much. He's like, "What's the point of that?" I'm like, "Oh my God, it's so dumb, but I love it."
But
so
there's so many of them, you know what I mean? Like, I used to work at a shoe factory, Nathan, but I quit because it was soul destroying. Or Nathan,
I ate a clock yesterday, but it was time consuming.
Yeah. And that restaurant we went to on the moon, right? Amazing food, but there was zero atmosphere.
I love dad jokes. They're the best. I look up joke. I'm trying to make my friends laugh, and I see a joke, and I take the punchline and throw it away.
Yeah.
And then I take that first part of the joke and just make it a dad joke, because they're funnier, because you don't expect them.
I got a calendar for Christmas. Every day is like a new dad joke. So I got a lot more material.
It really?
It's a thing, because people seem to enjoy it. Like, I've interviewed people from Outer Banks on Netflix during the pandemic in March and April when it came out, and we were talking about dad jokes. Like, people love the dad jokes. So when I sense them sometimes, and we're having a good time for a wrap up, like, I gotta feed some dad jokes here. Like, I gotta get them in here.
I love dad jokes. I gotta find that calendar.
Absolutely. Nathan, thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This is a great time.
No, absolutely. So they can watch We Could Be Heroes right now on Netflix.
Yep.
And where can they follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
As of now, I guess the best place would be Instagram.
Yep.
Nathan_Blair_LA. That's the best place. And then I have a YouTube channel, so I'll hopefully be posting more stuff on it. It's Nathan Blair. You'll see my face. It's that one.
Amazing. Well, congrats so far with the success of We Could Be Heroes, man. I hope it continues to just get bigger and better, man. It's awesome to see.
Well, thank you. I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you can catch Nathan Blair and We Could Be Heroes, which is now streaming on Netflix. Until next time, this is Nathan Blair and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.